Today, we are diving into a topic that sounds like science fiction, but feels disturbingly real when you meet certain people: the Uncanny Valley reaction. The term was coined in 1970 by Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori. He noticed that the more robot faces started to resemble humans, the more people felt an eerie chill instead of friendly wonder. The almost human look wasn't comforting, it was creepy. Researchers later graphed this as a valley of revulsion, an emotional dip between cute cartoon robots on one side and perfectly lifelike humans on the other. The strange thing we'll uncover together is that you don't need blinking LEDs or hydraulic joints to trigger the valley. You just need a person who acts human but is missing crucial emotional wiring: a narcissist or a psychopath. Most of us don't meet a humanoid robot in daily life, but we do meet classmates, co-workers, bosses, dates, and sometimes family members who drain the warmth from a room the second they walk in. Your gut whispers, something's off, even before your brain can explain why. That shiver is the Uncanny Valley calling card. In the next 9 sections, we'll unpack how it works, why it fires in seconds, and what you can do when the chill crawls up your spine. By the end, you'll have a roadmap for protecting your boundaries and trusting your intuition without feeling guilty for walking away. The science of feeling creeped out. Let's rewind to Mori's original idea for a moment. He drew a curve showing human comfort rising as robots grew more realistic, until suddenly the curve plummeted. Eyes that were too glassy, skin that was too plastic smooth, smiles that hung a second too long. Each detail nudged viewers into a deep sense of wrongness. Modern psychologists suggest a few reasons. One is evolutionary. Our ancestors needed to spot disease, death, or imposters quickly, so they learned to fear faces that looked off. Another is cognitive fluency. Our brains like patterns that make sense. When something is almost right but not quite, our prediction machine glitches and we feel anxious. If we swap out robots for real people, the same misfire happens whenever someone's behavior contradicts their human appearance. Narcissists and psychopaths look just like us. They smile, speak, and hold the door open. Yet they routinely fail at empathy, remorse, genuine joy, or moral self-reflection. Those missing pieces flash like a warning strobe behind the mask. Even 10-month-old infants prefer images of faces that move with natural rhythms over those that don't. They already sense authenticity. By 10th grade, you've sharpened that instinct through years of cafeteria chatter and social media posts. The moment someone's grin feels pasted on, your stomach does a somersault. Researchers at Princeton found we form a first impression of a face in as little as 1/10 of a second, faster than a blink. A Harvard communication study stretched that to a leisurely 7 seconds. But either way, the clock ticks quickly. When those early micro-judgments scream danger, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, revving you up to fight or flee. You might notice goosebumps, tight shoulders, or a sudden urge to end the conversation. The Uncanny Valley has opened beneath your feet. Building the human robot. How narcissists and psychopaths simulate people. Picture a phone running the latest game with half its code missing. The graphics load. The soundtrack booms. But right when the main character should save the day, the screen freezes. That stutter is what it feels like to interact with someone who's all charm and zero conscience. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, centers on self-worship, a hunger for admiration, and a brutal sensitivity to criticism. A psychopath, meanwhile, has shallow emotions, reckless impulsivity, and a chilling lack of guilt. Both personalities learn early to mimic warmth because society rewards kindness. They rehearse facial expressions in the mirror, copy speech patterns from movies, and memorize the acceptable response to "How are you?" the way a robot stores a line of code. But code can't fake a beating heart. Empathy is more than mirroring words like, "That must be hard." It's feeling the other person's hurt. When that feeling is absent, tiny glitches appear. A narcissist's eyes dart away while you're sharing something painful. A psychopath's timing is off, laughing half a second late, gasping with surprise a beat too early. Each micro error rings the same silent alarm Maury documented in machines. One misconception is that narcissists are hiding a secret warm core you can unlock if you love them enough. In reality, the core is hollow. They construct a false self, an imaginary superhero version of themselves that they try to convince the world and themselves is real. Challenge it and they panic, rage, or vanish. That instability explains why your intuition screams that the person in front of you is only a sketch of a human being, not the full painting. Snap judgments. Why your gut beats your brain to the punch. Have you ever walked into class, spotted a substitute teacher, and instantly sensed whether they'd be strict or chill? That's thin slice perception, our mind's talent for slicing a sliver of data and extracting a big conclusion. Princeton psychologists Janine Willis and Alexander Todorov showed participants random headshots for 100 milliseconds and later compared their ratings of trustworthiness to ratings made with unlimited viewing time. The quick takes were practically identical. Your gut may be called irrational, but it's often correct because it crunches subtle cues you don't consciously register. Sam Vaknin cites studies where people needed just 3 seconds of live interaction or 30 seconds of video or even a single still photo to peg someone as narcissistic. The same lightning-fast filter catches psychopathic traits on email or text, cold word choices, strange punctuation, or jokes that feel mean, not funny. Like software antivirus, your subconscious scans for malicious code before you click the link, trusting that antivirus can conflict with social norms. We're taught to be polite, to give others the benefit of the doubt. When warning bells ring, we shove them aside because we fear looking judgmental. That's where cognitive dissonance steps in. You see a friendly face, you feel danger, and the two ideas clash. To restore harmony, many people decide they must be the problem. Maybe I'm just anxious. I shouldn't judge. Everyone else seems to like him. Meanwhile, the narcissist downloads your sympathy like free Wi-Fi. Living inside the valley. Daily examples. You've probably seen. Let's ground this in scenes you may recognize. Group project guy volunteers to lead, praises everyone's ideas in the first meeting, then ghosts for 2 weeks and shows up on presentation day to take credit. The class senses something's off but shrugs because he's so nice. Lunchroom Queen Bee compliments your outfit Monday and mocks the same sweater online Tuesday night. Her smile feels plastic, her laugh too loud, and your instincts ache like a sprained ankle. The smooth senior keeps quoting inspirational TikToks about empathy, yet never remembers anyone's birthday unless cameras are rolling. In each scenario, the person's surface signals friend, but deeper patterns betray indifference or cruelty. The dissonance fuels hallway gossip. Others say, "He's fine. You're overthinking." Remember, groups often prefer harmony even if it means ignoring discomfort. Your job is to honor your private radar. If interactions leave you drained, minimize contact, partner with reliable classmates instead, and document group tasks so credit can't be stolen. Biology, brains, and why we hate imposters. Neuroscientists have found that viewing almost but not quite human faces lights up the amygdala, the brain's fear hub. The amygdala flares when we spot potential threats, snakes, sharp objects, or in this case, unpredictable social partners. Evolution favored ancestors who couldn't afford to decide slowly whether the rustling bushes hid a tiger or just wind. Better to overreact and survive. A narcissist's odd micro-behaviors send a similar, unknown predator signal. Your amygdala primes your body to flee before your frontal cortex, the logical part, finishes its pros and cons list. Another brain system at play is mirror neurons, which fire when we watch someone else act or feel. They help us learn by imitation and build empathy. But mirror neurons misfire with narcissists because the emotional data they broadcast is thin or contradictory. Your neurons reach out to mirror joy or compassion and find nothing to copy, creating an error message that feels like creeping dread. Can a narcissist cross the valley? You might wonder, can therapy fill the missing pieces? The answer is complicated. Psychopaths rarely seek help unless court-ordered, and even then their progress is shaky because they treat therapy like another game to win. Narcissists do show up in therapists' offices, usually after a romance or career implodes, but many quit when the mirror of honest feedback cracks their self-image. Long-term, research suggests some narcissists can learn pro-social behaviors and reduce aggression, yet their capacity for deep emotional empathy stays stunted. Think of a robot updated with better voice acting, more convincing, still not alive. Does that mean writing them off forever? Not necessarily. People with mild narcissistic traits sometimes mature, especially if they form genuine bonds and accept accountability. But change requires insight, effort, and time, and you can't supply those ingredients for them. Your first duty is keeping yourself safe, not fixing others. How to navigate the valley without falling in? Listen to somatic clues. Tight jaw, sweaty palms, sudden fatigue. Treat these as smoke detectors, not false alarms. Set boundaries early. A polite "I'm busy" or "I'd prefer to keep the project roles clear" prevents later entanglement. Narcissists test limits with small favors. Saying no early discourages them. Document interactions. Save emails. Record meeting notes. Written proof beats a charming smile in any dispute. Seek outside perspectives. Share your concerns with friends who are out of the narcissist's influence bubble. Fresh eyes spot manipulation faster. Practice radical self-honesty. If you catch yourself making excuses for their rudeness, pause. Ask, would I forgive this behavior from anyone else? Use the gray rock method. Respond with minimal emotion and information. Narcissists feed on drama. Starving them of reaction often drives them away, when walking away is the healthiest choice. Despite every strategy, some encounters remain toxic. Breaking up with a narcissistic partner, requesting a schedule change to avoid a manipulative coworker, or limiting family visits might feel drastic, but mental health sometimes demands distance. Studies on stress show that chronic exposure to unpredictable hostility elevates cortisol, weakens immunity, and even shrinks the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's survival. Before you cut ties, plan quietly. Inform a trusted teacher, supervisor, or counselor. If the person is violent or stalks you online, collect evidence and involve authorities. Above all, remember that guilt is a tool narcissists wield. They may accuse you of abandonment or blame you for their pain. That's the valley talking. Walk up the opposite slope toward genuine reciprocal relationships. We've traveled from a 1970 robotics paper to the hallways of your own school, mapping how the uncanny valley hides in plain sight, inside people who look stunningly normal until they don't. You learned that your intuition is a high-speed pattern recognition engine built by millions of years of evolution and sharpened by every friendship, betrayal, and YouTube video comment you've ever read. When it lights up red, honor it. If you decide to meet me in Vienna, we'll have 60 minutes to zoom in on whatever valley you're currently crossing. But even if our paths don't intersect in person, my hope is that these 10 sections give you a compass you can carry anywhere. Spot the glitches, respect the chill, and never doubt that choosing distance from counterfeit warmth is the first step toward friendships and futures that feel truly human.